All right. So, all right, we're back after the winter break, and we are doing speaking. So this is speaking assessments C from the 0510 March 2024 paper, and right we have IMA for this particular mock assessment. Again, right, my focus has now shifted to refining your responses, right, choice of words and phrasing and all of that. We've practiced quite a bit on how to expand. The last time you were having difficulty, I believe, Ima, in elaborating your
Yes.
responses. Hopefully it will go better this time. I am going to start with the warm up, although it's sort of repetitive, it's sort of boring, but the whole point is to sort of get you into the talking mode, right? So, Ima, can you tell me something about your best friend?
My best friend name is Ramin. I met her when the school started, the online school, and like I met her as a classmate, and she guided me since I joined the session in middle. So I didn't know where recordings were, like where all the resources were, where am I supposed to upload my homework. So at first, our friendship kind of started as a classmates. We started like she actually helped me out in finding most of the things, and later on at the end of the year of the school we became best friends.
Hmm. Now, again, even though this is the warm up, I will point out, and this it's not graded, but I will point out certain like the sentences you're making have some grammatical flaws. Like you started off, my best friend name is, right, and it should be my best friend's name is.
Oh,
Okay.
friend's name is.
Yes, friends.
Oh,
The friends over here is not the plural friend. It's one with the apostrophe
yes,
s.
yes,
Okay.
yes, got it.
Yeah, the possessive.
All right.
So my best friend's name is, and you also, I believe, said first, like we started off as a classmate, and so it should be we started off as classmates, not a,
Classmates, yes.
right? Because a
Yeah.
it refers to one, one thing.
One,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you're saying we, that's not one. That's like two at least, right? So
All right.
yeah. Okay.
Sir, did I elaborate it enough? Was it
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
like 1 point?
No, yeah, I mean it was, but again, right, this is a warm up question. So as far as the grading goes, you're not going to get marks for this. But again, I want you to practice. So you practice your speaking, we focus on the grammar. And so what you want to do is you want to have proper answers even for the warm up, even though you're not going to get marks for it.
All right.
Okay. How do you get to school every morning?
For most days, I do cycle to the school, cycling. Most of the days, and other days when my parents are not busy in their work, they give me a lift to school. But what I most like the thing that I like mostly is doing cycling, because again in my daily routine I really try to keep a habit of moving around, even though it's not always possible for me, again because I'm having a tight schedule. So what I do like is cycling to school. Most of the time I do that.
Okay. What kind of music do you listen to?
The kind of music I listen to, it depends on what am I doing. For example, if I'm doing workout, I would go wait. So actually my brother is sitting in front of me and he is reacting. Give me 1 minute. Alright. Okay, let me go back to it. Okay, so what kind of music do I listen to? It mostly depends on what I'm doing. So, for example, if I'm doing exercise or if I'm doing workout, I would listen to motivating songs like beat up songs, And for other time when I'm studying, not most of the people will have a same opinion as me or like same habit as me, but when I'm studying I need something to listen to. It like helps me to concentrate more. So what I listen most of the time, I listen to any K-pop song. Like I really like K-pop. It's basically a Korean pop band. A lot of bands are there. I usually when I'm studying I listen to those.
Hmm. Now, uh, right, first thing, do not repeat the question. All right, so the question is, what kind of music do you
Alright.
listen to? And you're like, the kind of music I listen to is this. Right, so you're basically repeating the question, so don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, the thing is that my brother just reacted, so that's why I start over again. So
I
that's why I
mean,
repeated the question.
I'm not talking about starting over. I'm just saying both the times and even earlier, right? So, in general, students tend to have a habit of repeating the question, even in the written word, right? If a question is printed on the paper and they've given you space, right? What does the character do later? And so they start off with their answers like, later the character does this, and you don't need that part, right? Because you're repeating the words of the question. You don't need to repeat the words of the question, whether you're doing written work or you are giving a verbal response. Now, secondly, you said uh, it depends on what am I doing, right? And so what you would want to say is what I am doing or what I'm
I
doing,
am doing.
right?
Oh,
And in fact, if you use
yeah,
contractions instead of saying what I am doing, you're saying what I'm doing with like contracted form.
yeah, yeah.
That's better because something
That's better.
yeah, it's better, right? Why? Because the contracted forms are actually something that native speakers are more comfortable, right? People who study English as a second language, which is basically what we are doing, right? Or a foreign language, their language tends to be a bit more formal or much more formal than native speakers. N- For for example, I tend to say, "Oh, I'm going to," or "I want to," and someone who's more comfortable with English, they're going to say, "Gonna," "wanna," right? Now, as far as the exam's concerned, I wouldn't suggest doing "gonna" and "wanna," right? But using contraction is just fine, right? It just it shows that you're more comfortable with the language and you have a better understanding of how it works. Okay.
Alright.
Uh, what else? You said I listen to a beat up song. Beat up
Beat
means
up
like,
song.
yeah, beat up means that it's like old and broken and used and worn out, right? So I'm guessing what you meant to say is that you listen to upbeat music.
Upbeat song.
Yeah,
Yeah, upbeat music.
upbeat, not beat
I
up.
wasn't getting the word.
Yeah,
Yeah. Beat up song. What type of song is that?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. There's like, yeah, and maybe some other uh, corrections. Okay, let's move on to the interview, which is the first part of the assessment that's actually graded. So the questions are about animals. Now again, keep in mind that you're able to see this on screen. In the actual assessment, you will not have the questions in front of you. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
later on, I will be having your assessments without sharing the screen.
Oh,
Right?
alright.
Okay. So animals. Aima, what is your favorite animal and why?
I like cats. They are my favorite animal because I own three cats, kittens actually, and I really like them because what I believe they're way cuter. It's my opinion. They're way cuter than dogs or other animals. Like some people even, adopt ducks. just for fun. Or fishes. What I think fishes are in aquarium, what I think they're only a showpiece to your house. They are not like a new member or like something you can pet on. You can only feed them and clean their mess. But for me, cats, we can do anything with them. Like we can play with them, we can feed them. We sometimes I even sleep with my cat. So we can do anything with them, and they're way cuter than dogs. That's what I find them. So yeah, I really like cats.
Okay, so when you're saying, uh, that like you endeavor that's what I find them, you can say like in my opinion, or my preference,
In my preference, okay.
right? According to like my preference, or in my opinion, cats are cuter than dogs. They are more interactive, and they're like smaller and manageable size. Dogs tend to get much larger depending on the breed, right? And they're fun to play with, and they're like a member of the family. I like fish as well, but they're not
So
as
these points,
yeah.
sir, when I'm speaking, I don't really like get the ideas to elaborate these points in my sentence. But once I'm done and and I listen to your response, I am always like, I should have added this, I should have added that.
See, once again, right? Do not limit yourself to the practice you're doing in class. I am only guiding you and helping you, right? The You have to like I've given you 100%, well, let's say 90% responsibility of your reading and listening, right? Writing, I will check and give you feedback, and speaking I'm doing, but to improve your speaking and even your writing, you have to practice on your own. So, right, you can take these, you have my drive link, you can go through these assessments on your own, you can pick up other speaking topics, and right there, as I mentioned, do some research, right? Do some research on animals. If you have a particular animal, like you said, you like cats, so just research the reasons why people like cats. Google it will give you a few points. See one or two short YouTube videos, right, with people talking about their cats. Now you've got something to talk about, right? Now, just because you like cats doesn't mean that you in your answer you have to say exactly what you think. Just give an answer, right? Say that you got like a Russian, I don't know, punch face or something, punch nose. I don't know if that's a breed, right? Say that you got an orange cat. Say that you got, I don't know, a British short hair or something, right? Some like you don't have that, but what's the harm? Like the examiner is not going to come and check whether you actually have cats. Okay,
Yeah.
so right, obviously you're not going to say, oh, my favorite animal. I mean, they're asking you about your favorite animal, so you can very well say they're not asking you about your favorite pet. So there's a difference, right? If they're asking you about your favorite pet, then you would obviously want to talk about something that you can keep at home, right? If they're asking about your favorite animal, you can say I like the orca. You're familiar with the orca,
No,
the killer whale, the black and white, killing machine.
not sure.
Okay, or dolphins, for example.
Dolphins.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
right, you can say I like crabs. Why do you like crabs? Say something about crabs.
Sir, I feel like this isn't even about like testing your English anymore. It's based on research mostly.
A little bit, yes, right? Because obviously, see, what is English? Is it just grammar? Are they going to ask you about the past participle of break, right? Break, broke, broken. That's English grammar, right? Obviously,
Yes.
that is one facet of language. But because it's speaking, right? So you're speaking in English. So when you're speaking, what are you going to talk about? You're not going to talk about grammar. You're going to talk about something, right? And this is that something. So the reason why I'm telling you about, I'm asking you to research is because when you say, I can't think of points and I'm talking, okay, then find something to talk about. If you can't structure your ideas yourself, look something up. Okay, make points, and then
All right.
and that's not the only thing. Talk to yourself in the mirror, and the best thing is record yourself. Right, so you definitely have a recorder on your phone or tab or whatever it is you're using. Right, record yourself giving the response. After some time, listen to it again, and then you'll be able to judge yourself. Oh, I didn't give a proper response. I could have said that. I could have said that. You try it again. You try to do that same response better next time, and so you will improve. But you have to do this on your own. ठीक है ना? If
Yeah.
you'll have to give that time to yourself. Even though the speaking is not part of your letter grade, it will show up on your certificate as a number. All right.
All right.
Okay. Can you tell me about a time when you saw some animals and how they behaved?
I saw animals when I was in forest, like when I was in a trip from my school to a forest. Sir, I don't really know how to elaborate it.
Animals, you saw like a group of cats in on the street. You saw some, like, you probably don't have stray dogs over there, so no. Right, you saw a group of cats. You saw like a few birds, right, fighting over some pieces
Sir,
of
okay, but
bread.
like how they behaved.
How
Only
they
I can
behave?
say, like, for example, there were cats, they were like searching for food under the car tires.
Yeah, so they were like,
That's
yeah,
not even 1 minute.
uh, so that's fine. I mean, the total time you have for this is like 2 to 3 minutes, so you don't have a lot of time to speak anyway, right? I
This is
saw
just.
I saw like a group of 3 to 4 cats on the street on my way back from the meat shop, right? And they were searching for food underneath the cars and in the corners near the walls of the buildings. And when I passed by, they probably smelled the mince meat that I had in the shopping bag, and so they started chasing me, and I really had to shoo them away. I had some water in my water bottle, so unfortunately I had to spray some of that on them to make them go away because they were really hungry. I sort of felt bad for it, about it, but I wasn't going to feed them the minced meat I was taking home for my pasta.
Hmm.
Was that difficult? Just make up a
It
scenario.
wasn't difficult until you say it.
Just make it up. See, when you saw some animals, you saw some crows, you saw some pigeons, right? Right? Maybe like about a time, right? Maybe you saw like some, I don't know, bears in the zoo, right? Maybe you saw some crocodiles at the zoo, right? What else can you see? You saw some mice. You saw some lizards. Lizards are animals, right? You saw
Yeah, coming up with a scenario that quick, it's just
yeah.
very hard for me
I
though.
mean, I mean, scientifically speaking, biologically speaking, even mosquitoes and flies are animals. Spiders are animals,
Mm,
right?
yeah, but I'm
But
not sure if they want that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
I was
response.
going to add that if you start talking about spiders, they'd be like, oh, those are insects, they're not animals, and you'd be like, but they are biologically. But let's talk about the general understanding of animals. Okay. Do you think animals should only live in the wild? Why or why not?
That's what I think. Some animals should live in wild, and some animals can if they want to. Like for example, again, cats. What I think is that cats don't really need a lot of a lot of requirements that they are having. For example, fishes. You can take them in aquarium in your home, but for other big fishes, some people really, have this craze to adopt a dolphin in their house, like the billionaires. So they make a separate swimming pool for them, and I don't really think so that should be, a way you adopt a pet or something. So what I think, they can, some animals can live in wild and some cannot.
Okay, I think you sort of confused the meaning of the question. What they're actually referring to, do you think animals should only live in the wild? What they're referring to is,
Chalo, terrible at this.
having zoos, right? So you bring
Having
animals
goose.
like elephants and giraffes and zebras and crocodiles and bears and porcupines and other animals into zoos for people to watch, and even some pets, right? So many people are also against having pets, especially like parrots, and they're like, no, you should not keep animals in cages, even at home, right? So animals should only be in the wild. So that was the the sort of what
Demand of
yeah,
the question.
that was the demand, yeah, of the question. You want to try that again?
Sir, I'm just so struggling at this. I can't.
Well, you need to get a hold of yourself, because yeah, it's I mean, I feel like you're sort of regressing instead of progressing, right? Earlier on you were giving you know rather elaborated answers with ease, and now you're struggling, so I don't know why you're going in the opposite direction, right? Maybe
I also.
like, yeah, are you thinking too much?
Sir, actually, I'm worried about my test, which will be tomorrow. So maybe that's why I'm not sure.
Look, there's no point in worrying about a test. First of all, it's a test, it's not your actual exam, right? Secondly, even if it were your actual exam, you should have confidence on your preparation. That's what I was saying, right? With my grading your written papers, your writing work. I'm focusing on skill development, right? If I start putting numbers next to it, then your focus will shift from skill to getting numbers, right? So that's not something.
Alright.
Yeah. So have confidence in your preparation, whatever subject it may be, right? Tests are good. Tests are a good thing, obviously, because it will be a time thing and everything. But don't let it get to you, because the more you stress about it, you know, the higher the likelihood of you actually making mistakes is.
Alright. Sir, can you suggest me any book you recommend to your students for
For
speaking?
a
For
book,
just practice vocabulary. Just to practice vocabulary and stuff.
again, right? Vocabulary practice is not
Combination.
something like it's not something that you just memorize words. I don't recall if I mentioned the Oxford 3000 and the Oxford 5000, but that's more for writing. For speaking, basically what you can do is, when you're practicing on your own, right, and you're looking for a word, you can Google it, right? So you can Google what is the word for, and you write down uh, something like, give me an example. What are you looking for?
Habit.
Is a word for uh, you know not
Not sure.
okay. So I'll share that on screen, just a sec. Where is it?
पूछना नहीं बीच में
right? And so as you can see, yes, Afan, you can go. In fact, right, I'm ending the recording here. Uh, right, you can see what's the word for not giving credit instead of giving you, right? Different options, right? And so you need to see which one fits into the way you want to use it. So,
Alright.
right, so for vocabulary, that's something you can do. And listen, listen and read, right? So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Because I can't just give you a list of words and say, use these, because it's about context. Like if I give you a word such as you know bulk up, for example, where are you going to use it, right? There are only certain contexts. You can't talk about bulking up with animals, like the ones we were just talking about,
Yes.
right? Bulking up is something that you'll be using in terms of exercise. So again, right, it
Yeah.
depends on what you're talking about. So there's not a list of words to memorize. So look it up as you are practicing and build your vocabulary from there. All right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's going to take some effort, I know. It's going to take some effort, right? You'll have to put in some time on your own as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow then.
Alright, sir. It's only in me.
Okay,
Meeting. Allah Hafiz, sir.